back now. Of course, we're going to focus on a fixed income market, and we have with us Iyobosa Evbosomon from Dunn, Loren, Merrifield. Iyobosa, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Didi. Thanks for having me.
Great. Now, it would be great to start by having an update on the fixed income market for today. I think that generally speaking, from what we said earlier, the market was relatively quiet.
Yes, basically today the market traded flat across most maturities, closing roundabout where it closed for the past 4 trading sessions. The 7 years, 10 years, and the 5 years closing roundabout 11 to 11.3% in terms of yield. Well, I think basically the market is trading with some form of caution across board because, like we discussed, we haven't seen the demand we initially used to see from foreign investors. So you've sort of seen a slowdown on demand from foreign investors.
Okay, now as you mentioned foreign investors, now we've seen that they seem to be exiting local bonds due to falling yields. Do you believe that this sentiment will be short-lived?
Well, I wouldn't say they are generally exiting their positions in the market. Probably 1 or 2 foreign investors would have sold down on their positions, but not. You can't say in its entirety that the foreign investors are the ones exiting the market. I think market took up from where the foreign investors left in terms of panic selling. So you've seen in the past 2 weeks, you've seen more of panic selling than foreign investors exiting the market, because a large chunk of them also did not exit the market at these levels.
Okay, now let's move on to T-bills. It will be interesting to know where you're seeing the most demand.
On Treasury bills, what we've seen is the 1 year, as at the last auction that was held last week, closed about 10.75 in terms of stop rate, and now that gives you an effective yield of 12.06. My thinking is that these yields are beginning to look attractive to both the local investors and foreign investors as well. But that notwithstanding, you still find a little bit of caution on the end of local investors, right? We see most of them still trading with a little form of caution because, like we noticed last week, there was a special OMO that was done by the CBN for about 437 billion that was sold to the market, with 500 billion being on offer, and the stop rate was at 12.75%, and now that gives you an effective yield of, say, 14.36%. So you want to ask yourself as an investor, how high are these yields going to go? Should I jump in now, or should I wait it out and see how high the CBN governor, or the CBN as it were, will go in terms of yield? So you might not necessarily begin to see the buying pressure, though the levels are currently good in terms of the 1 year bill trading at 12.06 in terms of yield. Now, if you compare that to the inflation rate, which is about 9.5%, that's a positive real rate of return. So naturally, you should see some buying pressure. However, like I said, because of the OMO that consistently hits the market, there's some form of caution on the part of investors. So in spite of the market being awash with liquidity, because as at close of business today, the market was up about 500 billion, you would want to see that there should be some form of buying pressure, but we are not seeing that as at the moment, because like I said, people are trading generally with caution.
Okay, now of course there's an OMO auction today, and we know 250 billion naira was offered, and there's no sales, and I believe we saw the same thing happen on Friday. Do you think that perhaps, are you getting the impression that, maybe these yields are too high?
Well, for now, I don't think it's safe to say that the yields are too high, because we've only seen that on 2 occasions, which is Friday and today. I think it's something we should watch going into the week, or probably next week, to see if this is sustained. If it's sustained over a week or 2 weeks, then you can safely assume that, yes, the CBN is generally watching the rate at which they are willing to sell at OMO auctions. I think it's too early to jump to that conclusion.